Welcome in. Today we're playing in the Qualifier play-ins on Magic Arena. The format is Secrets of Strixhaven Sealed, best of 1. The goal is to get to 6 wins before you get to 2 losses. This is going to be a longer video where we go through our entire thought process. How do you go about building a solid sealed deck? When building a sealed deck, there's a lot to consider. How many powerful game-ending cards did you open? How many of your great cards are in similar colors? How many of the key glue pieces for your archetype did you open? Did you open enough creatures along your curve to fill out a deck at all? Do you have to skip a spot and include interaction in that spot instead? There are many things we have to consider, but I just want to take our time and go through. And once the gameplay starts, I want to make the best use of our time and our rope to see if we can make great decisions within the frame of trying not to lose on bad decisions. Losing because of mana flood or mana screw, or the opponent just built a better deck or had a better opening process, that's fine. But losing because you didn't think it through is not what we want to see today. So kick back and relax with me as I take you through this entire process. Let's see what we opened. Hopefully we can open some great stuff that'll just drive the path. All right, here is the live portion. So I'll do as few cuts on this as I can so we can get the full process in the end in the video. Let's see what we open. I've been in a couple of these recently where I just opened dog water and couldn't find any good synergies in the pile. But that probably was me. There probably was a good deck in there. But this time, let's see if we can get a little lucky and get some help on that. All right, mic is going. Yep. All right, sealed 6 packs. Come on, something good. That's a lot of rares. All right, so we're a little bit everywhere on the colors, and a couple of firsts too. We have a Pox Plague. Each player loses half their life, then discards half the cards in their hand, then sacrifices half the permanents they control of their choice. Round down each time. 5 black. Unlikely we're ever going to be able to play that. So, Jadzi, Steward of Fate, 3 mana 2/4 that enters prepared. When it enters, you draw 2, discard 2. It has Oracle's Gift on it, where you make X blue fractal creature tokens, and then put X counters on each one. So if X is 1, you make 1/1/1 fractal creature for 3 mana. If X is 2, you make 2/2 creatures. If X is 3, you make 3/3 creatures. So if X is 3 though, you have to pay 7. If X is 2, you're gonna have to pay 5. So increments by 2 per X you want to go up. So you want to cast it for 7 mana for the best benefit, but even 5 is great. Because 2/2/2s 5 can be okay. You definitely want to cast it for more. So if we're in blue, I like the card. We have 2 Hardened Academics. That's pretty good actually. So Hardened Academic is a 2 mana 2/1 bird cleric in the Boros colors, or a Lorehold in the set. It is a flying haste that has an unbound discard ability. This creature gains lifelink until end of turn. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So the discarding a card part, if we're behind, or we just have a bunch of chaff in our hand, or if we have flashback cards that we don't mind casting first from the graveyard, cool, but that's not all the time. So that first ability is going to be blank a lot of the times. But for the other cards that we are using on both ends, on the play and on the flashback, or for exiling from our graveyard for some other effect, that's the part that makes this a great creature. And having 2 of them means it's easy to build around. Alright, so going on from there, we have Planar Engineering. It is a 4 mana sorcery, 3 colorless, 1 green. Sacrifice 2 lands. Search your library for 4 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So in a multicolored deck, this is fantastic to get multiple card types on the battlefield for exactly this kind of card. Wild Growth Archaic. 2 hybrid green, 2 hybrid green. So you can pay up to 4 mana for this. So you can use up to 4 colors on this creature. It has converge. So for each color you use on this spell, you get a +1/+1 counter on it. So it can be a 4 mana 4/4 if you have 4 different colors to play for it. So 4 mana 4/4 trample reach, already fantastic. But what's the main text on here? Whenever you cast a creature spell that has, well, more specifically, whenever you cast a creature spell, that creature enters with X additional +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of colors the mana spent to cast it. So in a deck where we're playing Hardened Academics, this will come in with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. So it will come in as a 4/3 flying haste. And let's not get confused. You don't need to run green to run the Archaics. So I can run this for 4 mana in a completely off color. I can run this for 4 mana in the Hardened Academic deck and just play just play red-white. I can do that. It will be still a 2/2, but it costs you 4. It'll be a 4 mana 2/2 at that point. But the ability is still good enough you want to do that. It's better if you can at least have a green in play, so you can pay 3 to get that 2/2. But if you don't, you don't. And especially if you're playing Planar Engineering, you can get your full setup right away. You really want to do that if you have multiple payoffs per converge. In our rare pool, we only have 1 so far. So let's take a look at the rest of the cards. Dina's Guidance. Search the library for a creature card, reveal it, put it in your hand or graveyard. Unless we're building a combo deck in here, this isn't that great in limited. End of your opponent's turn, go find a creature. Like, it has to be a really good creature to go find it and use a card slot in your deck for wanting to always go find something. You don't always have a window for this. I'm not all that sold on it. Harmonized Trio, a 1 mana 1/1 Merfolk Bard Wizard. You tap it and tap 2 on-top creatures you control to prepare it. And once it's prepared, you get to cast Brainstorm. Straight up Brainstorm. Draw 3, put 2 back on top of your deck. So in other formats, you want to play a Brainstorm and then shuffle your deck somehow. So if we have a fetch land somehow, this is fantastic. But you still need to have 3 creatures in play to use this the first time. So that's pretty good. Once you have 3, you can do it every turn. But if you're doing it every turn, those creatures aren't attacking. So it's like, you really do this when you're like, I need to find an answer right now situation. We also have our first copy of Petrified Hamlet. So this is a land hate card. When this land enters, choose a land card name. Activated abilities of sources with a chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Lands with the chosen name have tap, add colorless. And this land itself can add colorless. So in limited, this is not going to be very good. There's like 1 man land in the set, and making it so putting this card in your deck just to counter that 1 card doesn't make sense. For other formats, fantastic, but not sealed. And we have 1 copy of Maelstrom Artisan. It's a 3 mana 3/2, 2 red and 1 colorless that has haste, and you can pay 2 to use Rocket Volley, which destroys the target non-basic land. You are going to see some non-basic lands. Enough to make Maelstrom Artisan fantastic all the time? No. A lot of time this is a 3/2 that's going to fly in on turn 3, and then it's going to attack in to trade for something. Hopefully. So unless you get more than 1 of these, I'm not buying all the way in. So that's our rares. It looks like red-white. I like the double rare in the colors. I also like the blue Jadzi and the Archaic. I lean towards wanting both Academics and the Archaic. I don't know if I want blue yet. And I don't know if I want Engineering yet. So let's see what's in our uncommon slots. Alright, but first, let's go over the entire card base. Because I want everyone to see, well, these are what you had available to you. What could I have built? Let me know in the comments. What would you have seen in this pool to be a better build than what I got? Or if I build the best one, who knows? So I'm gonna go page by page here. Let's make them smaller. So this will at least let us get a full view of all the card names. If you want to see the details on each card, please pause the video. But I'm gonna go through page by page. That's all the pages. All right, so let's go back to the start. And I like to go through. We've seen our rares and mythic rares. I like to go through our uncommon to see what uncommon connectors we have across our strategies and colors. So let's zoom back in. So in white, we have Daydream, Duty Beyond Death, Group Project, Ink Shape Demonstrator as solid white cards. Let's not look at multicolor for now. So in white, we have Ink Shape Demonstrator is a decent body. It's a hair below rate, but it has Ward 2 that makes up for it. And it gets lifelink whenever you target. In repartee, in that deck, you're going to be doing this all the time. So it ends up being a 4 mana, 4/4 Ward 2 lifelink a lot of the time. Or more if you're doing multiple targets in a turn. So it can stabilize you very well. It's not the craziest thing in the world, but you definitely would want 1 on 4 if you're playing in white. Group Project. So you want to cast this card when you can do both on the same turn. It's not as powerful split across multiple turns. So you want to pay your 2 mana, make your 2/2, already have 2 other creatures in play to tap them to make another 2/2. And that way you get your full value, basically a 2 mana 4/4 in value. Once again, as per other cards, if you tap all your creatures, they can't block. So this has to be early in the game where tapping your creatures down is fine. All right, so now let's look at our multicolor that are attached to white. We have Scolding Administrator, which is one of the better, this is your glue piece. I would have loved to have opened 2 or 3 of these if I was in this color, but 1 is fine. It is a 2 mana 2/2 menace. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. When it dies, if it had counters on it, put those counters on up to 1 target creature. So this is a great card to have in play at all times, because you're going to put cards in your deck that target. If you're in the colors, play the card, because it'll grow and grow and grow and has menace, so it's hard to block. And then when it dies, if you're not your only creature, you don't lose out on the progress you've been making. So decent card. Stirring Harmonizer is a 5 mana 4/5 that costs 2, a white, a black, and a hybrid. When this creature enters, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of creatures you control. Put one of those cards into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. So this is good and bad in that it's technically 5 mana 4/5 draw a card, right? But it's only literally that if you don't really care how many creatures go into your graveyard. You don't really care how many cards end up going in your graveyard. You will need some kind of graveyard synergy to make it straight up draw a card. Otherwise, you might whiff hard and just toss all your stuff in the graveyard that you really wanted, interaction wise. Because if you find a creature, you just take the creature. But the theory around it is cards that you don't know in your deck are cards that are the same as any other card. Which means if I say, look at the top 2 cards, put 1 in my hand, put 1 in the graveyard, that 1 I put in the graveyard might as well have been a card that was on the bottom of my deck, and I didn't know it was on the bottom of my deck. So this putting multiple cards in your graveyard could be those 3 cards technically were cards I was never going to see. But more literally, if I wasn't playing this card, I would have seen them. So you kind of want to balance it back in having the ability to benefit both ways on it. So in a deck that does benefit both ways, like you have ways to pull things out of the graveyard, or if you're already in the flashback colors, yes, this is fantastic. If not, it's just a 4/5 body for 5 that got you a creature maybe. So consider that. And then they have Molten Note in the Boros colors. It is red, white, and X. Molten Note deals damage to target creature equal to the amount of mana spent to cast a spell. Untap all creatures you control. This is a good card. It is a straight up removal spell for a creature, and then it refreshes your defenses after you've attacked, presumably, and then you can flashback it later for 8. So you don't get the flexibility of picking the X on the flashback, but at 6 you're definitely going to kill a thing on that 6X that you end up are being forced to cast it for. So I don't know about throwing this away in advance. I would want to use this card both ways. I would want to cast it first and then flash it back. I wouldn't feel the best about just discarding it because the cost is so high. All right, so let's go to the next color. Blue. We have one straight up blue uncommon in Divergent Equation. XX in a blue, return up to X target instant and or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand, exile Divergent Equation. In sealed, this is not great. Like, you'd have to have a very specific game plan of filling your graveyard, like using things up in your graveyard and then pulling them back. You can't pull back creatures, so you want to pull back your interaction. I don't know how it earns a slot unless you just happen to have an open slot. So I'm not sure about that. Prismari Charm. This is decent in that you can surveil 2 and then draw a card. That's just good for the rate. Or you can ping 2 smaller creatures down or away, or hit them in the face and hit a creature to like finish one off in combat. Or you can bounce something. So the bounce something is alright if you're making a swing for lethal, or if you just need to stall them for a turn. That's not bad, but I would much prefer to be using the Surveil 2 draw a card, or the Prismari Charm deals 1 damage to each one or 2 targets. But because of the utility and it's all in one card, I think you always want to run one of these at least. More if you can find them. In the other color pair, we have green, blue cards. Growth Curve, a 2 mana sorcery that is green, blue. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, then double the number of +1/+1 counters on that creature. So this is meant for your fractal creatures that are all +1/+1 counters. So if it's a 3/3 fractal creature, it becomes a 4/4, and then you double it, so it becomes an 8/8. So it gives you massive power for 2 mana on one of your fractals. If you don't have a fractal and you top deck this card, it feels awful. That's reason enough not to play it unless you're strong into that strategy. So from there, we have Quandrix Charm. So green, blue, instant. Counter target spell unless this controller plays 2. Decent. Destroy target enchantment. Those are in the format. Target creature has base power and toughness 5/5 till end of turn. A trick for combat. Just like Prismari Charm, there's always some situation you want to use all these modes in. So yeah, that's decent. We have Tam, which is a really good engine for your deck. It's a 4 mana 4/3. It costs 2 colorless, a green or a blue. It has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, Tam becomes prepared. So it doesn't enter prepared if you play it on curve, but if you play it on turn 5, you can play Tam and then play your 5th land for the turn, make it prepared. You can't then cast Deep Insight. So some people will hold it until turn 6, what they're playing their 6th land after playing Tam, so that they can activate Deep Insight right away to get their value right away. Because your opponent doesn't mind killing Tam before you get any value. They feel worse about it if you've already gotten some value off of it. So the great thing about Tam is you can just repeatedly get value. If all you're drawing is lands, you're constantly drawing a way to draw another card and gain some life. So when you're in these colors and you open a Tam, I think you always play a Tam in those colors. Moving on to black, we have Bitter Triumph, classic card. You can discard a card or pay 3 life to destroy target creature or planeswalker straight up at instant speed. Great removal spell in the color. End of the hunt. Your opponent exiles the most expensive creature or planeswalker they control. So great pseudo targeted removal. Rapid attack. Any number of target creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain once creature dies, draw a card. Hard to earn a slot for this. This just encourages swinging out and just hoping that your opponent blocks. They should block if you're swinging out, and then you get some cards to replace it for whatever one's actually died. But most swing outs are suspicious anyway, so they're gonna like, should I block all these? Because they clearly have 2 mana up and they might be doing some shenanigans. So risky business there, but you can find a spot sometimes for it. And then we have the black-white cards we already went over. And then for green-black, we have Mine Roots. Target player discards 2 cards. Put up to 1 land card discarded this way onto the battlefield tapped under your control. This is sneaky good, because typically 3 mana target player discard 2. They just toss the 2 lands in their hands and like, okay, well, I guess I'll just draw my next lands. But if they draw a discard at least 1 land, it ramps you. So now they have to consider, do I want to throw with something real both times instead? I don't know. That's decent value in ramping you while also getting rid of something they didn't want to get rid of. So it's always a consideration in the colors. Root Manipulation has straight up won me several games. 5 mana sorcery, 3 colorless, 1 black, 1 green. Until end of turn, creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain menace, and whenever this creature attacks, you gain 1 life. This does everything you want to do in these colors. It gives you evasion, it gains you life for each one of the things attacking, and it makes everything bigger. So your pests that are 1/1s are now 3/3s, and they give you 2 life when they attack, and they're individual triggers for all your life gain payoffs. This is just a great card in the color. This is the top end win you the game if you're in the colors. So glad to see it. We're not sure if we're in black yet, but we'll see. Let's move on to red. Impractical Joke, premium creature removal. 1 mana, 3 damage to target creature and planeswalker. Damage can't be prevented. It's sorcery speed, but still, that gets rid of a lot of things. Monster's Rage, the ultimate combat trick, +2 damage off the spell, +1 damage off of the roll, and +1 health and trample as well. Just, it got banned a lot of places for a reason. Abrade will removal 3 damage to target creature or destroy an artifact. Thunderstorm Soloist, this is a sneaky good game ender on its own, in that whenever you cast a spell, you get to ping your opponent, and if you cast a big spell, it's 3 damage. So if you can keep chaining big spells, you're just doing 3 damage, 3 damage, 3 damage. Lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt over and over again, and if you have more than one of these, you can build around that. We opened 1, but that's still pretty good. So Tablet of Discovery, a 3 mana artifact. Whenever this artifact enters, mill a card. You may play that card this turn. You can add red. You can add 2 red for instant or sorceries. This is a good mana rock. It's just good. And you want to play it on turn where technically you can maybe play that card this turn. If you just play it on 3, you hope it's an instant or sorcery spell that you can cast for 1 or 2 red. If not, you just kind of just mill the card. If your deck is built around that, say it's Lorehold and you're trying to get stuff out of your graveyard, fine, but try to make it work. It's okay if you're just milling a card, but try to make it work. We have 2 Micah, Reader of Runes, a 4 mana 4/4 with ward, pay 3 life. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. So this is presuming that you're making treasure tokens or some kind, because you can only sacrifice an artifact. So if you happen to be making artifacts, cool. I don't know if you would sacrifice Tablet of Discovery to get that effect, but if it's a great spell, copying it may be worth it. This really depends on how many artifacts you run. Prismari Charm, which we've gone over, and then Molten Note, which we've gone over. And next, let's look at green. So we have Emil, Vastlands Roamer, a 3 mana 3/3 creatures you control, +1/+1 counters on them, have trample. Your fractal tokens are creatures with counter on them just by default, so that is the reason that you want this card in your on play. It costs 5 to make a fractal token that is the size of the number of differently named lands you control. So in a, say, 4-color deck, you can make a 4/4 for 5 every turn. Even more if you have the dual lands that just have a different name. So you can make quite the size of, you can make up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can make a 10/10 with this. Technically, I think there's 5 dual lands and then there's 5 basic land types. That's Magic Fairyland. No one's playing a 5 color limited deck, but targeting 3, maybe 4 is great. 5 mana for a 2/2. It's free, but it's not the best. It has trample, but still, it's not the best. You kind of want to be in 3 colors with this. Knockout Remover is a bite spell. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, and then deals damage equal to its power to a target creature an opponent controls. So it's a removal spell. You need a creature on the board. It makes it bigger, but it's sorcery speed, and it's not bad. I think you always want to run one of these. Snarl Song makes a fractal token with Converge, so it costs 6, and then you can create 2 fractal creatures, and you put X +1/+1 counters on each of them, and you gain X life, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast a spell. So this is up to 2 5/5s. It can be 2 2/2s for 6 if you only have the 2 colors to use. So you really do want to be, once again, 3 colors for this spell. So you can make 2 3/3s for 6 and then gain 3 life. Yeah, I think you really want to be at 3 colors for Snarl Song at a minimum. 4 is where you really want to be, but 3 is the minimum. And they have Mind Roots and Root Manipulation. Other cards we've seen before. Yes. Colorless. No colorless uncommons. If you just look at the group of multicolor uncommons, we have 2 black-white. We have 2 black-green. We have 2 blue-green. 3 blue-green. So blue-green is the heaviest of those. So yeah, those are our uncommons. So if you look at everything together, let's get a reminder of what our rares and mythic rares were. So we have blue and green, and then we have red, white. So again, rare wise, our strongest ones are in blue here, and then in red and white. So blue and red and white are things you definitely want to look at. And then finding a way to get the archaic into play is also great if we're using a lot of multicolored cards. Even single color cards are great because for free, getting everything 1 counter bigger is great too. So, all right, let's look at our commons because that's our most important section in terms of what we have to fill out this deck. So, color by color once again. Oh, actually, first, let's look at our lands. We have 1 of each, actually. I have not had that happen before, having 1 of each. So, 1 Forum, 1 Summit, 2 Grave, 1 Strife, and then the Paradox Gardens. So, we do have some flexibility mana-wise. Black-green is the best stack here. We have Fools of Strife for the red-white cards. So black-green, black-white. So black-green being supported best gives us a thought. And then we have, let's see how this plays out. So we do have something in each of these color pairs. So, but in white, in common, we have the Interceptor, which is a good early creature. Taps on taps a creature, and we can draw a card. That's not bad. Stone Docent trades well, and then later on you can gain 2 life and Surveil. All right. Historian surveils when it comes in, and then it has Lorehold synergy. It gets bigger when you play around with your graveyard. Debater, 3/3 on 3. It's a repartee payoff in that it gets bigger for the turn. Glyph Mage, 4 mana, 4/4, where 1/1 of it is a flyer. Response, a removal spell. Well, and that's it. All right. So, of these cards, I like Interceptor, Glyph Mage, and Response the best. And then it would go Historian, Debater, a little tired. And then I'm not the highest on Docent because it's just going to block and die. But let's keep going. At blue, we have Protection Spell, Spell Pierce, 3 Essence Scatter. When you have 3 of something that is generically good, it does lean you in that direction. I'm not going to lie. Because your opponent's going to play creatures. If you're ahead, that's a fistful of these. That's not bad. Tabulator. It's an increment creature that surveils 2 when it enters. It's just a body though. There's no evasion on it. So it's just play it on 3 and hope it stonewalls the opponent for a little while. And since it starts at 0, you're going to consistently be able to make it bigger. Run Behind. This is a bounce spell to the top or bottom of the opponent's library with their wherever they choose. It costs 3 if they're attacking. Or if you're attacking and you want to save it. That's an interesting bounce spell. And then Procrastinate can take a creature out indefinitely almost. They're procrastinating. X equals 3. That creature's gone for 6 or 7 turns. Ooh, that's a long time. And we have a Terrafractal on the end. Okay, so not bad if we're in the colors. In black, we have Baroque Banemaker. So it's the Death Toucher that gets bigger if they don't block it. Melancholic Poet. A great targeting payoff in that you makes the opponent lose life and you gain life. Send in the Pest. Each opponent discards a card. You make a Pest. So basically, this is a sorcery version of the rat that would always make you discard a card, but it also gains you a life when it attacks. So you can consider this a creature in your deck. Right. So Ulna Alley Shopkeep is a 2 mana 2/3 menace. It's a 4/3 if you gain life this turn. Not the most exciting thing in the world. Wander Off, you always want to play a copy of that. And you have 2 of the Sneering Shade Rider, which is a great flyer that makes the opponent lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. So decent to play with. Anything else? Oh, we have a Pest Mascot, so we do have a life gain payoff here. That's not bad. Only 1 though, so we're not all that interested in the pest strategy. It doesn't seem like. If we don't have another way to pay off gaining that life, like I don't consider this paying off. So unless there was something better at the higher levels of card. Let's look at red. Express a Fire Dancer. So in the Opus deck, this is passable. It's a 2 mana 2/2. It gets bigger on the turn if you cast spells. If you cast a 5 mana spell, it gets double strike. Doesn't have evasion, so it can just get chumped, but it's a decent curve filler. Rabble Rouser is a staple in red. If you're playing red, you kind of want to play the one you open of this, because you can discard a card and draw a card when you play it, and then every turn you get to do the card left your graveyard thing and add a mana and deal a damage. So it's just for free. If you have cards in your graveyard, you get to activate most of your synergies. So you're going to want one of these if you're in red. A 3 mana 3/2 in Strife Scholar. So it's hard for them to just ping it off without taking some damage. And then later on, you can cast a big spell to make 2 2/2s. It's exactly overcosted. If Awaken the Ages was 5 mana, you want to play a lot of these. But at 6 mana, this is kind of hard to want to play. 5 mana, deal 6. And if you exile a card, deal 2. It's a good if you need it removal spell. And then Lorecaster will get an instant sorcery spell from your graveyard back to your hand. So Lorecaster in a heated argument, that's the kind of thing you want to be doing. And then that's all of our red. Green, Oracle Restoration, +1/+1 for in the turn, and then you draw a card and gain a life. So it's not a combat trick. You have to do it pre-combat if you want to use it, but draw a card and gain a life still. So this is a bite spell at instant speed, and it gives your creature +1/+0 if you've cast another instant or sorcery spell this turn. So if you're in green, this is decent removal for your creatures. Turn down this music for me for a second. Next card is Glorious Decay. So artifact removal, deal 4 damage to a flyer. 4 damage is the key number because those flyers do have 4 health or less a lot of the time. Exile target card from your graveyard, draw a card. You kind of don't want to do this against Lorehold decks, but if they're trying to cycle things, it's useful. So that's pretty good. Efflorescence. 3 mana, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. So definitely a combat trick. If you gain life this turn, it gets trample and indestructible. So this is technically another life gain payoff. Because in a deck where you can consistently life gain, giving that creature trample and indestructible is a blowout if they intended on trying to kill that creature and you trample through. So really, you have 2 of these. That can be reason enough to be in life gain. Shopkeeper's Bane, 3 mana, 4/2, attack and gain 2. It's a great card there. And then Hungry Graphalon. If you're triggering it at least twice, that's great. But you need to cast, I believe, 4 increments greater. So you have to cast a 4-cost spell of some sort, which you should be able to. You just, once you're at turn 4, you need to cast the bigger spells after that to get it to grow. So it's a great defensive piece against the flyers, though. So again, we see the past mascot before, and then the Pterofractyl. So colorless, we only have commons. Mage Tower Referee. So when you cast a multicolor spell, put a +1/+1 counter. If you're in 3 or more colors, you do want to play this. When you're in 2 and you only have a few multicolored spells, you don't really want it. But you can find a slot for this a lot of the time. Pays Loose Leaf. I can't imagine a situation where you want to play this card. You have to open like 5 of them. Because you can just... I don't even know if you want to play it in that case. That's just a hard card to find a spot for. It's a mana dork that's legendary. Yeah, no. And then Grove is a mana rock. And then you can alternatively gain 2 life if you cast something else that turn that gained you life. No, if you cast something else that was an instant or sorcery spell. And then Bibliopex, Tome Keeper, one of the only ways to prepare something straight up or unprepare something straight up. So I have not found a spot for this in any decks yet. So multicolor group wise, Pest Mascot, Pterofractyl. Those are the only common ones. All right, so next up, let's take a look at all of our uncommon across, our multicolor across all, and let's not include lands. Let's just include everything. I'm not gonna have those. I don't have any of those. So we have a bunch of blue-green multicolor. We have 3 white-red. We have 4 green-black. And we have 2 white-black. So if you want to play a bunch of these, technically we only want to play 3 of these. We want to play all 3 of these. That's a 4-color deck if you wanted to do that. Black, green. We would only want to play 3 of these. And we really only want to play 2 of them, and maybe the 3rd one. We wouldn't really want to run Dina's Guidance a lot of the time. And then the Prismari Charm is alone. I really want to find a way to play Hardened Academic. I also really like Tam. All right, I'm not feeling strongly pulled in any direction. So let's next take a look at the creature distribution. How many 1-drops do we have? 2 drops, 3 drops, 4 drops, 5 drops. If we can get a solid creature base in certain colors, that can drive us in a direction on its own. So let's look at just our creatures, no matter the rarity level. Let's look at our 0 and 1 cost. So you have an Interceptor, a Trio, and a Burrog. So in blue, white, and black, we have 1-drops. In terms of 2 drops, we have Mage Tower, which can go into anything. And we have 4 red 2-drops, 2 black 2-drops, 2 white 2-drops. So in the 2-color world, we're looking at that on 2. If we're red, white, black, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 2-drops. And we may not play Fire Dancer in that situation. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 2-drops. Malleable. So if we're in those 3 colors, that is interesting. And that's not really a 2-drop because you can only cast this at 3. So this is a 3-drop effectively. So in terms of cards we like, that we'll be able to see. Now if we go back down to 1, we put what applies to those colors in at 1. Let's go back up to 3 drops now. So we have Historian, Debater, Boom, the Alley Shopkeep, the Artisan, the Rebel Rouser, the Scholar, Emil, and then the Pest Mascot. So the green, our 3-drop slot using green is pretty good. On red, we have 1 or 2 okay creatures. In blue, we have 1 great creature. And in white, we have a couple decent creatures. If we were playing 3-color, white, black, red, we just take a look at what we can get. Shopkeep, Rouser, Artisan. This is hard to justify because it just trades off and not very well. If you're playing big spells, you kind of want 1, but we aren't so far. If we go up from there, 4 drops. We want the Ink Shape. We would want the Glyph Mage. Sacrifice an artifact. We don't really have much of anything other than Mage Tower that makes artifacts. Bibliopex is 1. But otherwise, it's just a 4-mana 4/4 with Ward, pay 3 life. Which isn't the craziest thing on its own if it's just a blank. But it's legendary too, so maybe consider 1. Archaic can be in any deck, so you might as well just leave that in there. Tam, we would love to see Tam, so let's just include that. And with that, let's go back and see the love to includes. Oh, actually, go back. So we can get a full spectrum. So we would love to include that. Love to include that. That. Just so that we don't miss anything. That's 4. Let's go to 5. We would love to include Shade Riders, only maybe the stirring, but let's take a look at it. And then 6 and 7 together, just the Lorecaster. Sometimes this is great, but not always. So that's across all mana costs. That's our creature base. So in terms of strength, if we cut the cards that we know just aren't straight up strong, this is not strong if you're not in big spells, or if you're not casting a lot of instants or sorceries. So, but we're always targeting, so we always want those. If we're in these colors, things will be leaving the graveyard, especially if we have the Robo Rouser. Terrafractal. If we're in these colors, we kind of always want this as well. Soloist. Maze Hot Referee. I really don't like this card, so let's cut that. Archaic. I'm really not liking this card either. Let me cut it. Curve wise, there's 8 2s and 8 3s. So technically you want 4 to 6 2s, 4 to 6 3s. So if we cut 2s, this is not a 2, it's a 3. If we're cutting 3s, that's 1, 2, 3. There's 7 2s. You want this the second you're in 3 colors, and I think we are in 3 colors no matter what. So Tower, Referee stays. If we want to have a solid 2-drop slot, we do have to play some combination of these colors in our pool. And let's confirm that just to make sure. Our 2-drop slot otherwise is Fire Dancer and Pays Loose Leaf, and that's it. So if we needed a red slot to fill in, we can get the Fire Dancer back in there. We're not playing Page. So the consequence of our pool is our 2-drop slot does lock us into a set of colors. It looks like blue is not possible outside of the lightest splash. So let's clear this. So in terms of support for that, land-wise, if our colors are forced to be white, red, black, that's Strife. Oh, that's only one card. That's only one dual land that fits. We would need to be playing black. We would need to be playing green to have the most flexible mana base. Because green will give us blue, green will give us black. Or we would need to be playing blue, because blue would give us red and blue would give us green. But then we play in green. So if you're playing green, this looks like we want to be playing 5 colors to really get the best out of everything. That just sounds difficult. Maybe we end up there. Maybe we end up 4 or 5. But that's just hard to look at, you know? Green is so well covered. Is the real issue here. We have the white black. So it will be Fields of Strife, Form of Amity. We'd have 2. And these include black and red. So that means So we don't need to fret about wanting to splash any green cards. We might want to fret about the blue. For now, though, let's keep them all visible. I don't think we're ever playing Hamlet. All right, so if our primary colors are, though, black, white, red, let's focus on that for now and make the tightest grouping that we can. So so black, white, red. So for now, let's focus on the tightest core of black, white, red. So if you're not black, white, red, we're cutting you. Let's get that. Where's that? Archaic back, because this fits in no matter what. We always want to play this set, so that's fine. All right, so black, white, red. This is our creature base. So curve wise, we want to eliminate 2-ish 2-drops, eliminate 1-ish 4-drop, so we cut that, keep those. 3-drop wise, we're not the happiest at the quality here. We're not the happiest at all, but there's cards there. You have 1-drops as well, because when you have 1-drops, you have to consider them in the way of 2-drops as well, and you don't want too many because you don't want to be drawing that many of these. These are both good early, and this is a good wall late, and this can draw you a card late. So I think these earn their slots as 1-drops if we're in the colors. Docent is a way to move things from the graveyard. This is for big spells or just casting spells in general. Administrator is great when you're in the colors. Great when you're in the colors. I guess these are the most suspect, because Poet is repartee. That's repartee. So if we're looking at strict best generally, we're cutting both of those as well. Artisan as well, if we're being very strict. That leaves us with 5 2-drops, 2 3-drops, 2 4, or 3 3-drops, 3 4-drops, 2 5-drops, and 2 1-drops. That's 15 creatures, which is not a bad creature count. Kind of want 16 or 17, but once again, this is just core. If we have another color come in, and we can get the most important ones to come in. And because Archaic is here, we kind of do want a green spell to come in or two. But considering that this is our creature base right now, what does this creature base do? So we have some flying. We have 1, 2, technically 3, 4 flyers, and then 5, 6 flyers. So this deck wants you to be targeting. It wants you to be moving things around from the graveyard. It wants you to be casting multicolor spells, which is what we're going to be doing with these. And that'll be a multicolor. Oh, no? Does this count as multicolor when casting it? No, I believe this just counts as green, because the pips on the card are green or colorless. Yeah, so Maze Tower is not triggered by Archaic, I don't believe. So there's 3 triggers creature-wise for Mage Tower. So this is actually in question. if we only have 3. So later, if we find that we have more, we can bring it back. So we're trying to get to the tightest, best spells. Surveil 1. This also pays off things moving from the graveyard for that turn at least. And surveils when it comes in. Yeah, so we have some. These are all targeting payoffs. So we're in the Silver Quill majority. This is Silver Quill splash some Lorehold at this point. That puts us at 14 creatures. All right. I think this is as small of a group of good creatures as we can find. Archaic. This is great no matter what, because this will make this come in with 2 counters extra, and all these will come in with 1 more, and that makes all of them great. So yeah, I think this is the creature base to start with, to be the most stringent about. Now that leaves us 9 slots. I like 16 lands, so this is, let's call it 10 slots informally. So let's look at our non-creature spells. All right. So non-creature spell wise, let's take a look. So we want some removal, of course. So we have a giant response for removal, and looking just at the core colors, we have Bitter Triumph in the black, End of the Hunt, Wander Off, and Practical Joke in red. Monsters Race is a great trick, but I'm not sure if we're running that. Upbraid is good. Heated Argument. We're not playing green at this point. Oh, we're not straight up playing green at this point, so if we end up in green, Manipulation comes in directly. And then Molten Note. Alright, so if we were just playing creature and removal, this is all but one of the cards. All but 2 of the cards we're playing 16 lands. So what's the hole in this deck? Card draw is a hole in this deck. This draws a card if you discard a card. This discards a card, so you're down a card there. This draws you a card. Surveils, it's not really the same thing. It doesn't draw you a card. We don't have any card draw. We don't have any way to refill very well. All right, took a little break there, and I'm back. So we were looking at creatures versus removal versus card draw. The secondary removal in that is not the greatest. Heated Argument. Yeah, I think Heated Argument's the one that is the most cuttable, because Joke is good for his mana cost. Bitter Triumph gets rid of everything. End of the Hunt can get rid of their biggest thing. Upbraid can get rid of a lot of things. The artifact part. So Wander Off, exiles any target creature. Tap makes it cheaper. So for 2 mana on this spell, deals damage to target creature equal to the amount of mana spent to cast this spell. So if you cast it for X is 0, you still get 2 damage out of it, and you untap all your creatures. So this is the most flexible removal. You need mana to get to the larger creatures to kill them, but still that's decent. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 removal spells, but 8 as possible removal spells. If we have less card draw in the end, when it comes down to it, we do want more removal spells because we're not gonna be able to draw into them consistently. So let's cut them for now, and let's go looking for, and let's cut a land for now, just a random one, because I like 16 lands, to accurately reflect how many cards we have locked in. So that's over there. That's over there. That's there. All right. So those are the stacks. So let's go look at the other colors. So this is everything in the colors, removal wise and whatnot. So what are the options? Group project is a creature, technically, and it can be more than one. Sacrifice creature to give your creatures indestructible. Don't know how often we want to do that, but let's take a look at it. We are not in blue right now. In black, we're not getting to 5 mana to cast that. Opponent discard 1 card to make a 2/2 creature, basically a 1 mana 2/2 creature. Not the best. We're not in green yet, so we can't look at those. Rapid attack, I'm not sure if we're in that as well. None of these draw cards so far. This flickers a creature at sorcery speed. And then in red, we have Heated Argument, Monstrous Rage. Tablet of Discovery is almost draw, in that if you can play that card that turn, that's drawing a card. Prismari card draws a card. Alright, and we're not filtering anything. Alright, so let's reset. So let's search for the word draw. So the ways we can draw are in blue and green, technically a harmonized trio, Jadzi. So adding blue gets us to draw spells. Gets us Charm, Tam, Jadzi, and Harmonized Trio. That's 4 cards. This would add green and blue, which is kind of far away. This would add just blue. If we're in green, that's a draw. That's a way to draw a card there too. Not really sure about that. Trio lets you brainstorm. Once again, tapping creatures. Harmonized Trio into Molten Note is interesting. Because you can tap down, get the brainstorm, and then untap them after removing something. Well, there's a mana involved in that. So that's at least 2, 3 for the brainstorm. 3 mana. A creature that you want to kill for 2. And then brainstorming. So, yeah, it's questionable. So let me make my draw stack here on the right. These are not cards that are in the deck, but that's just the draw stack we're looking at. If we're more into green, like there's reasons to be in green somewhat, but not that many. So we're still considering that we have 4 slots open. So let's just go put that in the stack as well for draw possibilities. This is technically okay if we're in green, but so none of this is confirmed. So that's our draw. So this is everything that's left that we haven't said definitely we want this. Spell Pierce is nice. Essence Scatter is nice in blue. Procrastinate is nice as a removal. On the Monstrous Rage. So let's just make a stack of the other cards that we see that we do feel are decent. Where'd it go? Return, upgrade. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. All right, let's keep going. Equation, no. Shopkeep, not interested. Soloist is an option. In some worlds, artisan is an option. We're just making the stack here. Heated argument when we're lower on draw. If we end up in 5 color, we definitely want Emil. So let's consider that. As well as planar engineering. Because we have straight up bite spells in green. We have Barrage and Knockout Maneuver. So we have other removal spells if we want to lean more green than some other color. Color wise, we are the lightest in official cards in red. But those red cards are strong. And they work with each other. We would need... So the question is are our green cards better than our red cards? Because red-wise, Impractical Joke, Abrade, these are all the red possibilities. Green possibilities wise, let's put these cards in here. Efflorescence comes in if we end up in life gain. Poet gives us some of that. Is anything else that we liked give us life gain? This does. So we have a couple things currently that give us life gain, but not many. Planar engineering. If we're in green, this completely fixes us. And ramps us. Sacrifice 2, go get 4. We don't really have much reason to be ramping that high, but let's see. Perios Gardens, Terrafractal, Quandrix Charm. Alright, so what else do we like? If we're in green, we do like engineering, I believe. Snarl Song? Because if we're in 5 colors, Snarl Song is a nice top end. Root Manipulation. If we end up in green, we want Root Manipulation because that can win a game easily. Pest Mascot depends on more life gain being involved. Green and blue is the furthest thing away from what we're playing though. And then Maze Tower Referee definitely if we end up in all these colors. Another creature though. So splash support wise, Titan's Grave means the green cards are what we want to get in, not the ones that involve blue. Let's move those down. I don't know if Pest Mascot is supported enough. Our 3-drop slot is kind of light. I will give them that. Alright, so let's stack everything up so that we can take a look at what kind of deck we want to be. So let's get our things that touch blue into a pile. Our things that touch green into a pile. And these are the ones that are already on color. So if this is all the good cards we have, if we cut 15 cards from this, this is a deck. So if we take out the worst ones, as in the ones that are harder to pay off, that is, I guess it depends on if we want to go 5 color or not. You know what? Let's take a look, because once again, this is a long play. We're going to take our time on this. So let's look at the 5 color build. So if we're looking at the 5 color build, I think we want 17 land, not 16. And we want every single one of these dual lands in play. And if that's the case, our green is heavily supported by our dual lands, and everything else has at least one touching. Our green and our red, so everything is touched a little bit, but green is the strongest out of the duals, because we have 3 of them that give us green. We have 2 that give us blue, 2 that give us red, 2 that give us white. So, and that speaks well for getting archaic all the way up to the 5. So so the colors are for getting the size of archaic greater. So if we were playing 5 colors, we would cut 17 cards from this stack. Suggest lands. And this will be 17 lands. So we cut 14 cards from this stack. If we cut 14 cards, what's the creature base? Let's see. This is in that range of 4 and then 5. So that would be Soloist here, Artisan here, Roamer here, Referee. If we're 5 colored, we're definitely playing Referee. We don't know if we're playing Soloist still. Still require a lot of instants or sorceries to make that worth it. We don't know if we'd play Artisan. How many creatures is that? 19. We still would want 19 creatures, so we would cut more creatures here. Put this in a new stack. So our 3-drop slot, let's consider this a 3. And this a 3. So I think optimally we want this on 3, because 4 is kind of hard to presume you're going to have on 4. So let's consider this a 3-drop, and we have a green land in play. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2-drops and 2 1-drops to level that out, and then So if we're cutting a creature, how often in terms of a 3-drop, this enters prepared, and then it can make the fractals later. Trio does not get prepared unless you have the right situation. But otherwise, it's just a 1-mana 1/1. I'm less confident in that. That's 18 creatures. If we're playing 4 colors, we definitely want Tam. Jadzi as a 3-drop. If these are all the creatures, we have a lot of removal and whatnot, so that's that. I don't know about the Historian in this context. It's not the best. Yahtzee, Rouser, Referee. 17 creatures? That means we have 7 slots for non-creature spells. And if we have 4, that is not many slots at 17 land. There's a question if the 1-drops make it. All right. So if we're being the stingiest, we can. How do we get the 16 land? I mean, 16 creatures here? Because in the 5-color situation, we want Emil, we want Wild Growth, we want Tam. Demonstrator is nice, as it can stabilize and be a big body. Glyph Mage is nice. Our slots are kind of weak without these, though. If we remove this and filter this... Oh, stuck on screen. How do we... I can't see. I clicked it randomly. Okay, so our 4-drop slot is as suspect as it looks. So 4 drops are going to be weak no matter what, it seems. And then 5. So how are we winning the game? Archaics are nice. If we have multiple cards that do interact with the graveyard, that's great. Like Molten Note is great there. But now that we've gotten down to it, how many of the graveyard manipulating cards did we end up liking? Not many, right? So it's just Molten Note. Molten Note and Robo Rouser will interact with the graveyard to buff up the Academic. Yeah, that's it, right? So let's reset this and search graveyard. So these are our graveyard interactions. So Honormancer does not remove anything from the graveyard. That puts something in the graveyard. This will remove an instant or sorcery spell. This will return a bunch of instant sorcery spells. This is a payoff, and this will exile itself. So if we want Hardened Academic to hit hard, we kind of want to run at least Docent or Equation and Lorecaster. Like, you want several things to activate this. Because if Academic discards Docent, that's fine. I mean, on rate, 2-mana, 2/1 Flying Haste is fine as well, but this is a great card if you can really push it to the limits. So these are the things that specifically mention graveyard. Is there any other way? Let me see. Return. Flashback. Oops. Flashback. There's no filters here, right? Yeah. Does anything benefit from a Daydream Flicker? Maybe Robo Rouser? This reprepares Jotzi. It is a target for Poet and Administrator and Debater. That makes another flyer. Resets interceptor. There's minor benefits on Flicker of Daydream and its flashback. I think in a world where you play the blue one drop, you play group project as well because you're trying to have a board full of things that tap and give you value. And seems to do well if you have a lot of early creatures you can play. Yeah, in terms of what we already have in here, yeah, Molten Note is one. So, we got down to 10 cards, but now we need to consider the Graveyard Interaction stack. Which is another way to say how important is it that Hardened Academic does well? How many of our rares are we not even considering right now? A bunch of them. I mean, an Artisan isn't even all that bad because people are going to be running these dual lands. But it's not that important in limited to be fussing around with that. And Divergent Equation only earns a slot if we have really good reason to be casting it. So if X is 1, you have to pay 3 to get 1 instant sorcery spell back. If you pay 5, you can get 2. And this is whenever 1 or more, so it's only 1 trigger no matter what for that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triggers there, 6 triggers possible. So 6 triggers at If we drop the Hardened Academics, red doesn't look very good, does it? Red has removal, but we're not really paying off for it that well without all of these. And we don't have anything else paying off for it. The only other one, let me see. How do you find, or is it in here already? Leave. Wait. Wait, what am I filtering? Oh, I'm filtering on rares. Here, yeah. So leave. There's literally only one other payoff, and it's only a temporary payoff. It would suck a lot to only be able to play one of our rares. A lot. But you shouldn't take anything off the table. What are the odds? We opened 8 rares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. all across colors. None so attractive that's like, oh, you have to, except for academic. But it does get blocked easily until you've done the trigger one time, especially against the Opus decks or anyone else running. Where is it at? Anyone else running the Shade Rider, like it does not block that well. All right, we are back. So we are in a spot, aren't we? We're at a spot where we could end up cutting red for green, or turning red into a literal lighter splash that we just occasionally see, which means some of the red removal isn't great, but we're looking at green. We could be looking at green, but not green blue. If we're looking at green, but not green blue, that means we drop a Paradox Gardens, and we drop a Spectacle Summit. We drop anything that has blue. Drop the Island, the Charm. Let's see. All right, if we're doing that, and red isn't a major thing and green is, then we want root. We want plain. We may not want. We want knockout. We don't want Lorecaster because that's too late in the game. We still have red, so we Molten Note, Practical Joke. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Keep the Barrage. Well, these are all the non-creature spells. Daydream out. Project is out. Rouser is out. Note is out. Argument out. Type is out. Alright, so if we just cut red entirely, I think I just clicked off of a card. Oh, end of the hunt. And then the dual lands were red white. Those. All right. So if this is the case, 2-drop slot, 3-drop slot. We go down dramatically on creatures. We would only add in creatures to support this. Root Manipulation can win you games. Response is removal. Any of these not removal? All these are removal in that case. There's still no card draw. There are multiple colors still, so you still want the Tower Referee. There aren't many No, there's only one multicolored creature in this case. So Archaic is downgraded a lot. Things still get bigger, but it's definitely not enough creatures at this point, especially for root manipulation. Docent. Of that. All right, so we ended up at the point where the mana base is more easily supporting the cards because we didn't have very many consistent good payoffs other than the two rares. But we did end up in a situation where we lose a lot of our 2-drops that make sense in the deck. And we're looking more towards, what is this deck then? Is it Converge? Differently named lands? So if that's the case, we have 4 slots, maybe 3 actually. Let me see. I'm still there. Okay, so that's 4 slots, maybe 5 if you go down to 16 land. If we wanted to fill out 4 slots in this deck, it would not be a non-creature spell. It would be 4 creatures to get us up to 16 creatures. Scolding Administrators gets paid off by 1, 2, not this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells. And Melancholic Poet as well. Inkshape as well. Rehearsed Debater. So we're looking at the 2, 3, and 4 drop slots for creatures. Pest Mascot. Life gain is not very supported. That's Poet. Academic. Shopkeeper's Bane. That is repeated life gain at least. So if you run this, you run that. And then there's Tam. A better view of those. So 2-drop wise, there's Docent. This is 2, 3, and 4, right? Actually, let's look at all of them then. Across all of these colors, is it just because in this we can't play Artisan. That's 2 red pips. We can't. That's not a splash. It's technically, this is a full splash here. 2 academics and the docent, because these all support each other. And then curve wise, that gets our early curve better. There's cards that can pay off from Archaic. 2 of them that get added in, a little better at least. That is a 40 card deck. And then Strife would come in. Does this only get basic lands? Yeah, only basic lands. But it would fix everything in this scenario. So if we say that we don't have enough to bring the blue considerations in, it means we can stop thinking about those. It also means that our card draw is decidedly weak. So these are the green, well, these are the green cards. So Emil gets paid off dramatically the more colors and land types we have. So this is a deck technically. This is a deck. This is a deck that we could play. It has a bunch of 2-drops and 1-drops, so it's almost solid early game plays. Some 3-drops / 4-drops, some 4-drops, and some 5-drops. We have a good selection of removal, and then a win con card. If we're playing green and black, green is splashy. That's our green. That's our red. The Maze Tower referee payoffs are these. Are there any other Maze Tower payoffs that we would include? Pest Mascot plus Poet means all of our removal grows to Pest Mascot. And Mind Roots makes them discard a card and could ramp us into and give us a color of land we don't already have. I think there's a lot of red removal that we really like that we're not playing now. That's my concern now. So I think we've shrunk the consideration pool dramatically now. So this. Let's see. That's it. I believe that's all the list. All right, so now we're a little bit back to where we started, but we have a better focus. We have a lot of options considering our splashes. The main, let's see, the green is the lightest, black is the biggest, red is quite a few. If red is a splash, Molten Note, I think, has to come in if you're playing these. Heated Argument, not necessarily. Pest Mascot, not necessarily. Mind Root, not necessarily. Not necessarily. These three are hard to get away from. Two drop wise. And if you're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Maze Tower can definitely grow off of that. It's not the most reliable though. And maybe we don't play 2 Sneering Shade Rider. But even if we keep Because so Molten Note's the only, I think, guaranteed add if we're forcing the red in, and not any blue. So this is removal too. This is removal. That's removal. So Barrage requires that you have something, unless you're multi-spelling. You need something that's big enough to get rid of things, and we don't actually have big creatures, do we? 3 attack. So this is basically at most 4 to 5. It can be 5 if you use the demonstrator and you cast another spell. Barrage plus Banemaker kills anything though. Triumph, Maneuver, remove anything, remove most things depending on where you are in the game, remove anything big, Archaic, curve wise, how many creatures is this? 16? Three-ish, 4-ish. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's call it 4 and 3 on the 4 drops because this goes in either of them. Let's do it like that. Oops. Docent is in the book of it. So I think we just have a removal question. And Practical Joke kills a lot of things. Rage is a trick. I guess we just can't look at that. A Braid is great. I don't know about artifacts being all that important. So as a Braid, is this 3 damage better than anything else generally? We can generally get 3 damage off of Barrage. If we top deck it late, it's not good though. If we're behind, or if our board is lacking, this is fine because it can remove a thing. But it's not a splash though. We are playing. Well, then again, green is a splash at this point, right? Because we only have so many red and green cards. This is a black-white deck. Splashing red-green. So we're black-white, splashing red-green. These are our splash cards. Black-white. But this can be a win con its own if they don't have flying blockers. Administrator is not the best, but can do work. With Mage is just a decent body and a flyer. I think we do. I think we have to stick at least these 16 creatures. Molten Note. Untap all creatures you control. This is repeatable, and later in the game it definitely removes something. And it's good for Hardened. Rouser's great here. Roamer's great here. Maneuver grows a thing permanently. Archaic, Root, Molten. We're so close. $16 creatures, 7 non-creatures. Oops. Straight removal. Sacrifice. Power based. Wincon. I don't think we can cut any creatures that don't draw us cards. Like any creature for anything else that doesn't draw us cards. Because we need to have the bodies on the battlefield. People are going to pack all the removal they can fathom. What I've noticed so far is that folks that can refill their hand can be unstoppable. We don't have that angle. This deck's angle would be find our splash colors. Make sure we have our splash colors so we can play power across the rares that we're trying to work with. We're trying to play across this power here. Well, and these. These are what we're trying to win off of, and this is good in that package. So we're trying to win off of these cards. Everything else is support towards this goal. Shade Rider, Root Manipulation. And Root Manipulation does require a decent creature pool as well, so that you can... This is better when you have things that generate pests. I know that firsthand. So technically this is questionable, but it's not like there's something else we're trying to get in here. So let's once again look at the draw. Restoration. Decay. Decay technically works in a number of ways. It can act as a trigger for Harden for our own graveyard. It can get rid of a flyer. Charm. Tam. That draws a card. That draws a card. This is a deck. The gameplay isn't very... It's not on school for any school, though. For Lorehold, we're trying to make sure that we're... So the Lorehold game plan is here. This is the Lorehold game plan. This is the Archaic game plan. This is the repartee. This is the multi-spell, which plays into all of these. I mean the multicolor spells. It plays into 1, 2, 3, 4 spells. Mage Tower Referee might not be good enough here. It just might not. There might be a better creature out there. Interceptor draws us a card. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 land names possible. So Emil could be making 7 7s for 5. And this can repeatedly just serve that. I don't know. What do we think? I think maybe next time I do this, I have to do this live streamed so I can actually ask for some opinions. Because we have an abundance of removal. Like the red stack. Like the red stack is not awful. So is the question if black if you put black over in this pile, in this pile. Bring it in. All of this. You never cut that. So if we were to cut the effective converge angle, we'd be solidly. Let's just look at this for a second. Well, no, because if we cut those, we just really need to cut. How many creatures is it? 16. No more creatures will be cut. We still need to cut 2 cards from this list. Cut a land from this list. And this is your removal pool. This is your icon. 15 creatures. $15 creatures. 9 non-creature spells. Is that right? 6, 7, 22, 8, 9. Yeah. So 9 non-creature spells. Archaic just fitting in there. Green is the splashiest of splashes. The thing is, if you're doing this, you have to play a meal. If you're splashing green, that's your green splash. So you need to cut 2, and that put a creature back into play. So I think you cut. What are the 2 you cut? Colors here. 2-drop slot is kind of heavy. Kinda is an understatement, but it's so many of these things. I mean, the practical joke is better, but not instant speed. Not a lot of artifacts to kill. Is it that and then cut a land? Ten, 9, 7, 3. Green is there, but later. White is all over the place. White, black, red. The green really is for specific situations. Unless there's something else to cut and we can stay at 17 land. Soloists. 1, 2, 3 spells can make this deal 3 damage. I mean, you can play 41 cards. We don't have to be strict sticklers here. So if we're stacking that, call that 4. That's the deck. Interceptor, Burrog, throw some solid chunk of early plays. Land-wise, you want to see your black, red, and white. Green is not important unless you have a meal in play. It's not even all that important because if you don't have a green land, you're just playing this on 4 instead of 3. And you just worry about size, but technically you play this whenever you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's still 7 for a meal. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 6 targetings for the poet. We have 2-ish actual card draw, and it's 1 card draw. 16 creatures because we don't have the card draw. We need to always be able to strongly draw. You know what? I think we got it. I think this is what we try for game 1. Took a lot of good here, but we made it. And we're back. I had to go get some pizza. Hungry. Been at this for hours at this point. Let's one more scan since I had a chance to step away. What are the weakest cards in this deck technically? Yeah, that's what I would say. If I were to say the weakest cards are the ones that we're trying to fill in away from the synergies. These are the ones we're playing because we just need a decent creature base effectively. Docent is a synergy card, so maybe not that one. But these are the weakest. If we were to just cut all of them, this chunk, I like looking at this. Those other cards were the ones that I'm like, I don't know if I like that. And curve wise, our 2 drops would be set. We would need 3 drops and 4 drops to fill out the rest. And if that's the case, these are all of our options to fill in those spots. So if we were to focus on what we think are the best versions of these cards, like the strongest. Four cards. Because they'd all have to be creatures that we add in there to get back up to the creature count. What are the strongest 4 cards in this pack? Okay, 7-3. So let's get these large again. The strongest 4 cards that are creatures, I would say it's Demonstrator, as it can get us at it. It's a hard to remove. Oh no, Demonstrator is hard to remove. Glyph Mage is 2 bodies. So it would be Glyph Mage, Demonstrator, and then we need 3 drops. Would it be Bane Mascot? Our life gain triggers are Bane and Poet. And the Sneerings, along with Root Manipulation later on. Yeah, if I was being honest, and I'm trying to be honest right now, 9875. So black, white, red splash, green splash. So what ends up being cut is the 2 1-drops. And what comes in, there's 2 1-drops and a 3-drop got cut. 2 3-drops came in along with the 2-drop. I think that's what happened here. No. It went down 1 card. So the 2 3-drops came in, 2 1-drops, and a 3-drop went out. So we added a 3-drop overall and lost 2 1-drops. Bane can repeatedly trigger Pest Mascot. Poet can also. Root Manipulation 1 time. Everything attacking can make this gigantic. Discarding a card to give this lifelink can also trigger Pest Mascot. If this hits, or it hits anything actually. Not realizing this synergy. I mean, they're across 4 colors, so of course you're not going to realize that synergy. But that's a synergy that I didn't realize is there as well. So there's more life gain than I thought. And Bane helps that angle. So if we abandon the 1-drop slot, we have enough life gain for Pet Mascot to be good. I think this is the deck then. I think this is legit. When we draw the cards, we don't mind as much. In terms of graveyard manipulation for Hardened, we're still looking at Docent, Rouser, Note for any possible growth. So tech and then Heated Argument is actually 1 too. So these all trigger Hardened. And Rouser can do it multiple times if it lives. So Academic and multiple, life gain, and supported by this. So Pest Mascot is very well supported. And we end up with all of our good multicolor creatures that aren't blue. Wait, what? Yeah, because I'm still not sold on this card. If this is your only creature, this is a 5 mana 4/5 draw card. Is that better than a second Shade Rider? The better you're doing, the worse this is in this deck. Unless you're just chomping at the bit to get stuff in your graveyard. And we're struggling. And if we just throw away the things that... If you throw away Rebel Rouser, particularly, Academic struggles. Soloist gets paid off by these. Well, there's plenty of things for Soloist now. Yeah, we are in every direction. But I think 15 creatures, 8 non-creatures, very minor draw. Yeah. That's our now 4-color deck. All right, so we've landed on the deck that we're going to try first. When you reset all the sortings, we have a 1-drop remove, 1 mana removal, some stuff in the 2-drop slot, a lot of removal there as well. Some good creatures on 3, some creatures on 4, and a removal, and some a flying creature on 5. Root manipulation, so we want to stay wide when we can. We have some flying payoff in the end, and we have some synergy on life gain as well. So we need to see what angle we are hitting. The risk is hitting only payoffs and none of the tools for those payoffs in one color or another. So our mulligans are going to be very important. All right. Hours later, we made it. Let's risk the biscuit. Oh, wait. Mana base. So, red. We have 5 red sources for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red spells. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 green lands for 1, 2, 3, 4 green spells. Don't need it for that. One, 2, 6 white for the white spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And for the black spells, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For the black spells, we have 6. So basically even for black and white, which is how it lays out. A little heavy on the red, but the red is early, so that's 5. And then green is lighter, so it's 4, but it's more easily covered because of the dual lands into black. I think that's fine. Once again, I don't generally like 17 land in sealed. I like 16. But when you're playing 4 colors, it's hard to manage. There's a world where I drop, say, a plains or a mountain to get planar engineering in. To have a one-stop shop fix your mana, but then you have to lean more green. And since green is a splash, you don't want your ramp in your green. If you were heavier green, this comes in easily, but no, we would have to lean more green. Like we'd have to take one of the removal spells that are other colors and put a knockout maneuver in and a barrage to lean more green. Exchange will probably be Impractical Joke, and not huge argument. It'll be Impractical Joke. I think that's the only one. So Impractical Joke would have to become Burog Barrage. And then a land would become Planar Engineering. And then something else in the removal suite would have to become Knockout Maneuver. And that's the only way to get more green in there to make the green make sense for Planar, I believe. It is only one green pip. So let's keep an eye on that for future matches. But let's try this out for once. All right. Let's reduce me in size here. We have 3 of our main colors. We have a play on turn 2. 2 of them. All right. And having all these tap lands is we do want to draw a land next turn, don't get me wrong. But having all these tap lands does mean that removing the 1-drops makes sense. Did not drop the land, draw the land, so we still want to draw the land. We still went with 17 land. Ink Mage. Surveilling 2 creatures. Okay, we found the lands. We can't play anything. And unfortunately, their Ink Mage has Vigilance, so we can't response it. That's a bit tragic. So we're still looking for a 4th land. The 4th land will let us play Archaic or Demonstrator. Either way. I'm going to get hit for 3 here. Not much I can do about that. Flyer, alright. That I can kill one of the attacks. But now I can't attack because I didn't draw a land. 48% of my deck is land right now. Alright. 5 mana up post combat. Owl Historian, they get to Surveil 1. Well. Can't quite do that yet. Half of our deck is land right now. We found it. So we have to get rid of this. And we gotta fight back. Do we fight back with the Administrator now? We don't have another removal spell. I would trade Administrator for both of these right now. The situation is completely fine. What? Does anyone recognize how insane that is? That was literally just because we were behind on curve. If we draw mana, we can archaic, our creatures are bigger. We made the best trade possible for our situation. Fix what's broken. Every card they played so far was a 3-drop, specifically, so that they refreshed everything that they were playing. Everything that I got rid of, they brought everything back. Not drawing the green land did change a turn, maybe 2, that we couldn't play anything. Do we ever survive the blowback of all those 3-drops coming back? I don't think so because of all the flyers. Because we need to then deal with the flyers again. We have flyers in our deck that's match size that could trade with them. So you have to consider, was that the fault of the deck or did I just draw poorly? We have 4 green sources, 17 lands. We don't have much draw. We drew actually every green spell in our deck except for the Roamer, I believe. We drew 3 green spells out of all these. Everything else we drew we could play. We also couldn't draw another land on curve several turns. We ended up drawing removal that we could play slowly. Was that reflective of the deck? Is there a better deck without green? That stays. Is this a better deck without these 4 cards? This is 3 creatures and a win con. And they're 3 3-drops. Rehearsed Debater, Owl Historian. Oh, this is it. These are the 3-drops. Is Rehearsed Debater An Owl Historian. Owlin Historian does not help us there because it could chump one of the flyers because they were bigger. Rehearsed Debater on the ground blocks better, but also doesn't help. At higher mana cost, Graphalian actually, that would have helped us if we had a green mana. Is there a world where Grafalon comes into the deck? Flying is a problem if we don't get to 5 mana or we don't draw the removal for their flyers. We have the removal in the deck, we just didn't draw them. And Soloist can actually block them, especially if we can get a +1/+1 counter on it sometime with Archaic or something else. Graphalon. Glyph Mage would have chumped one, but it wouldn't have been as good. Maybe when we drop the Glyph Mage, add the Graphalon. Because that's exactly the size I think we saw that we missed. That means we're further into green now. If we're further into green, what does that do for our drops of planes? We're more green now. And we're still 17 land, I believe, right? Yeah. Alright. Not curving out at all at 17 land. That is bad luck. That is just bad luck. But answers wise, I think we drew well. It is we needed not to stumble on land early. We kept a 2-lander. This is red-white. And they specifically had a creature that we couldn't kill with response because it had vigilance. Like, several things did not go well. We can't play any 2-drops this way. Got a mulligan. We can play both of these. We can't play this. Let's keep this. Just in case we draw a forest. Alright, next turn we can at least play the Archaic or the Bane. Scavenger. This is a 4th mana. This is a 2/2 that buffs the later things. Bane can block the Scavenger. We are in a spot where we want to draw the land. Next turn, this can be a 1/2, a 3/3. I think we want to draw the card. This is a 2/2. Doesn't block very well. We're far away from that. All right, because we can block the Apprentice now, and we can wander off the Scavenger. They do have 4 cards in hand still, like we do. Do they cast Bind to Life right now? That's the question here. It's a spell they can cast to get a creature guaranteed. It's a lot of mill, though. Scavengers comes in. I can't block that. Is that an instant? It is an instant. Alright, so... if I try to kill the scavenger, they cast Bind to Life in response. I would rather them do that on their turn, though. They do it anyways, so I get a choice of what... Alright, so I will kill that. All they got was the healer. Swing in with both. Oops. I don't need to. All right. I think it's in my best interest to play Archaic next turn for black, red, green. So that my follow-up plays, if it lives, can do well for me. And it will block the Poisoner and Infirmary well. Which would mean that in order to do anything else on that turn, we would have to draw a mono red card. Which is like Thunderstorm Soloist. They're playing out. I mean, I'll deal 1 damage to him. End the hunt. That would get rid of their Adventurous Eater. We can play the Graphalon. Well, we can do 2 things here. Get rid of the Eater. Or either Apprentice or the Eater, I guess. And then play the Graphalon. Can't block the Teacher's Pest, but alright. +1, -1. So there's the 1 mana spell that can make this trade bad. Oh. Either way. They can stream a life for 1 if they want it. What else they got? Okay. So They can gain 1 billion life here if they want. Oh, they can bring that back infinitely. Now we gotta presume that they don't have a removal spell in hand. Because we don't want to kill the thing that can just come right back. Return the Eater and that. Okay. So they play it Infirmary. They play Adventurous. We're just a turn behind and a removal behind here. That's it. That's all we get. 500 gems. That first game, a blowout. The second game, it kind of showed how stretched thin we are, but we only really got stuck on the white mana for the one card, but we discarded that card. We then still got mana stuck. Do we go another one? I think we can. And hopefully we get some more cohesion at our top end or in the middle of synergy. Let's see it. We'll see it. If I think there's an angle, we can hop right into it. If not, I'll just try to tackle it offline. Only 6, but let's see. Another arcade. Why did I say that's our? Oh, this is Phantom. So, all right. So, Restoration Seminar is big. Once you get to 7 mana, you will always be able to bring something back every turn. Flashback in red. Archaic. So technically, all but the flashback work in a Silver Quill deck. Withering Curse, you have to build around not having many smaller creatures. And then you want to definitely cast this before you are forced to gain any life in any way. Practice Offense can definitely just win you games. Archaic is great. Conciliator's Duelist. When it enters, you draw a card. Repartee lets you slow flicker one creature, which is typically going to be this one. And it's a draw engine. So I like Seminar, I like Duelist, I like Practice Offense. Curse can be great when you're behind, especially if you can gain life one time and you're behind, because you can reset the board. And Archaic just fits into anything, really. And we have a direct payoff for that because this becomes a 6/4 or 6/5 when played. Not many, only 2 creatures out of these, but let's see what else we have. Let's look at our uncommons. Do ride Beth. Repel Calamity is a great removal spell for bigger creatures. Hop to it is good for going wide. Primary Research returns a thing from the graveyard. That's already on theme with only 1 3-drop or less. Sleight of Hand in blue. Flow State. Matter-Bending Mage. So it's a bounce. Bitter Triumph has a removal. Eternal Student. This is a fantastic black card. Dual Tactics and Practical Joke. Return the favor. Just the process is okay. And in green, we have Infirmary Healer, Lumeret's Favor, Colonian Tackle. So it's a fight spell, but you will win the fight unless they have Death Touch. Lumeret's Favor. If you gain life, you get 2 of these. A meal for the multi. Killian's Confidence. Target creature gets +1/+1 to end turn, draw a card. Supposed to trigger on brand for the colors. And then if you do combat damage, you can get this back to your hand and do it again. 2 Stirring Automancer. Once again, you kind of want to only play this when you have 1 or 2 creatures in play. Having 2 of them is something. Sanar. Old Growth Educator for life gain. Kuboy Colony is great in the colors. Paradox Surveyor is great in the colors as well. Strixhaven Sky Coach finds you a basic land, and it's a crewable flyer. I've seen this do work on the other side. I haven't played it yet. That's not bad. Like in the black and white is not strong in creatures very well. But yeah. Alright, so let's look at our commons. 4 Johnny's Response. Wow. And that's it for the commons. It was just 4 Johnny Response. An Honor-Bound Page. And then the Acolyte. Alright, so in blue, we have Chase Inspiration, Banshee Betrayal, Landscape Painter, Spell Seeker. Blue isn't looking very good. Banemaker, Cause Brilliance is a draw spell. Osteomancer returns things to the graveyard. 3 of them. A Wander Off, a Shade Rider, 2 Rebel Rousers, Scholar, a Mockery for removal, Barrage, 2 Newt, a Bane, Concoctors, a Form of Amity, a Mascot in the Dance, a Grave, 2 Lumeret, a Grapple and a Pest, Strife and a Wilton Heat, an Expanse is nice. And then an Archaic is okay. I mean, this is definitely more focused. 4 Johnny's Response is a lot of a Johnny's Response. So if we're looking at our creature base again, let's look at our early drops. If we play all of our early drops that we can, Acolyte's good, Banemaker's good. Lumerets are good if we're in green, so is Newt. But one of our rares is double black, double white. And Newt does not help that. That's a good body on 2 though. I mean, blue isn't doing itself any favors early here. So that's 1 2-drop, and then so that's 1 2 3 4. That's 6 2-drops and a 1-drop. I mean, that's enough for 2. Let's see at 3. At 3, we have Bane and Mascot, which work together, and then Emil for 3 colors. 5 mana for a 3/3 every turn is not awful. It could be a 4/4 if you have the dual lands as well. 3 is kind of light. Like, no matter what we do. Like, this is literally all of our 3s. Robo-Rouser is nice, but that's not a reason to hop in the red. So our 3-drop slot is light, so any 3-drop spells have an easier slot. Let's look at our 4-drops. 4 Archaeomancer, Archaic, Old Growth. Lumaret is great for life gain. Eternal Student is great. So that's a 4-drop, that's a 4-drop, that's a 4-drop, that's a 4-drop. And there's so many Osteomancers. Alright. And then let's look at our 5, 6, and 7s. That's kind of a similar group. 1 Shade Rider's good. This is Trample Reach. So this is a 5-mana 4/4 at least when we're playing it. If we have 3 colors, it's a 5-mana 5/5 Trample Reach. So this is great against flyers. So like that. 17 creatures, so we can stand to cut 1 or 2. Our 4-drop slot is moved around. So Archaic is great for Mascot, Lumarets, Duelist, and Old Growth. Life gain wise, Lumaret activates that. 1-time Infirmary can activate it. Acolyte can activate it with an attack. Bane can activate it with an attack. Student is just a great thing to have. Archaic. Yep. There's only a little bit. It's the lightest of white splash, but it requires double white for the splash. Let's reset this. Look at the lands. So we have a Titan's Grave. We have a Terramorphic Expanse. We have this. So that's not bad. One of each of those. We're not over represented there. Spell-wise, we have 6 slots. We would want Calamity and Practice Offense. And a Steminar. We would want Wander Off. And Grapple. Not playing white feels awful here because we have the Seminar and the Practice Offense, and Repel Claim. These are great white cards. Great white removal and interaction. +1/+1 on everything is great. There's 2 of those is weak. Once again, the 1-drop. Newt Ramps. How many targeting things we have? Killian's Confidence is great in that scenario. We put these here. These are our non-creature spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's give us 3 slots. It could be 1 creature, 2 non-creatures. Bitter Triumph. All right, we have a problem to take a look at, and let me highlight it. Let me highlight the problem we have right here. mean, that's a solid set of cards for blue. I mean, the rest of the blue is not that impressive, but so this is our creature base, and this is not removable, not removable, not removable. These are just creatures that give us recursion from the graveyard. And it blocks and kills things well. Drop those for now. For a Johnny's response. Compared to our previous deck, we definitely have a much stronger life gain angle. Well, we have Duelist now, so the targeting angle needs to be supported well. Killian's Confidence supports that very well because you can keep doing it if you can get in. The thing is, how do you get in? We have a Trampler. We have 2 Tramplers. And then Emil again. Newt can get us to Seminar. No matter what, if we can get this 7 mana and cast Seminar in a neutral board state, that's great. Which means, specifically, Withering Curse should be played in the Restoration Seminar, because if we can clear the board and we can just continuously get things back, that's fine. Practice Offense is good offensively and defensively. Well, offensively, you can cast it twice if you have 5 mana. Confidence is repeatable targeting. That's not just killing things. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 non-creature spells. That's a lot. See the problem? Creature-wise, Archaic, I believe it's great flying for blocking flyers. Especially if you're playing 3 color. All the white spells. Way more than 4 white spells. If we were playing just 2 color, it would look like this, maybe minus the Archaic, because we only have 2. I mean, 5 mana 4/4 might still be fine, Trample Reach. Actually, I think it is. Drop a response. Drop 2 response. This is hard to cast with white as a splash. That's... The Expanse can help us out there, and Amity can help us out there, but this is hard to cast for us. Realize in our Graveyard's battlefield. We have 3 Osteomancers. Our red has a couple of removal spells. Our green has some removal spells we're not even playing, like World Barrage, Colonial Tackle. And then there's the blue-green. It has an angle of its own. It's kind of light. It's one of each, but it has an angle of its own. And then Sky Coach can find a land too. So more generically, the Sky Coach in the archaic can help us make sure that the Sky Coach can help against flyers, and it also fixes a lot of our things. Crew it. I mean, Lumaret crews it. Vermihiller crews it. All these crew it. That crews it. You know, most things crew it. The question is, we can't not play the responses. We have so many. It's so much of our card pool is responses. Like, is a Johnny's response in that many enough to mean that we don't need Killian's confidence? This draws us a card as well. And that's a great removal spell. Acolyte. Cause that's the deck. This is better than response. It's not instant though. This is slower than response, but it exiles. Unless they're tapped. Triumph can directly remove. This gets a big thing out of the way. Duelist. Like, realistically, this is our only repartee card. What does this deck look like with just black and green cards? You're playing Barrage, you're playing at least one Archaeomancer. A card draw spell like that. Oh, eating me my food. With Restoration Paradigm, I don't mind stirring Onomancer as much. As long as I don't mill specifically that card. But if I hit that with this, I would have to just make sure I pick it. So what if green dropped and we added more white? So we drop an Infirmary Healer and the Barrage. That's just good to have. Those are 2 drops. Newt and Lumaret. Daydream is not bad against with Conciliator. It's not bad for Shade Rider either. It's low creatures. It's a lot of non-creature spells, ain't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. If we lean into our recursion, or I mean, lean into our multiples, this is what it looks like if we lean in. These are the 4 drops. Lose those. Fifteen creatures. There's only 3 colors, so this is a 3-drop. 5 2-drops, 4 3-drops, 4 5 4-drops. But the newts, well, the newts actually don't help for the duelist, but newts help for Osteomancer, Old Growth, and Eternal Student. Shade Rider's interesting. Board clear in a less creature, a reduced creature count deck. This not being a +1/+1 counter really stings. It does replace itself, but I like Sneering Shade Rider because it is a built-in win con if every turn this dies. Do we have a way to sacrifice a creature every turn? No, just the one time. It's a counter on things, though. $14 creatures. This brings creatures back. This improves our board permanently. This clears the board if we're behind and we can gain some life. This is a 16 land, 40 card deck. It'd be a plains. It's the lowest expanse as the other planes. Newt can help ramp. Seminar is a win con. You have to manage the board until then. Confidence, the first time replaces itself, and it helps something get through better, I believe. And confidence, when you have the flyers from Eternal Student, are great, or the Shade Rider. Is confidence better than adjusting a response? That I don't know. And it kills anything. These are later game because they require 2 white. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things target. And Duelist loves that. $14 creatures. So Withering Curse, Acolyte, 4 3-drops, 3 4-drops. Well, 4 4-drops, but unlikely you can play it on a curve. This is the less wild take on things. Seminar and Duelist really are tilting us, aren't they? Like, they're the reason, and all these responses are the reason we want to be in white. If we didn't want to be in white so hard, they'll be replaced with Barrage, an additional 2-drop, an additional removal spell, maybe a concoctor, but I'm not sure. Maybe the splash goes blue. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7 cards. 8 cards will be replaced. So it would be, we have the gardens. It would be Colony, Surveyor, Paradox, Mascot, Terrafractal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exactly 8 cards. Is blue or white better here? It would solidify us way more into green. Even with all that, it's only 19 creatures. Is this better than this? Is Duelist too difficult? And is Restoration Seminar too difficult to not be a white deck? The reason we can't just be white that strong is that the rest of our white cards we don't have any creatures. We have Hop to It, Page, and that's it. You have to have Honor Mancer in there to help at the top end if you make sure that black stays in there. Like, so is white or blue the play? White has the removal and like the more board establishing cards, and a card that you can hardly beat unless they're removing something every turn. This is beatable. This is beatable. This is attractive. This refill is great. And this finding a land is great. So you end up with 2 removal. You lose 1. You lose 2 removal overall. Going blue. And Colonial Tackle just wins with the newt. I think black is strong. But then again, if you're not playing white, I don't know if you play curse. So you might even actually get a slot there. And black isn't all that. It's like blue or red. So I like the blue idea. Let's see how white goes. So this is a lot of removal and a board clear. And something to pay us off later. And great, like cards that win the game when cycled. Alright. We're gonna try again. With just 3 colors. There's technically a build of the deck in 2 colors, just black, green. I don't know if there's a white black. I don't think it's white black. I think you need green to fill out. So we would prefer, we're going second. We need a black mana for this hand to make any sense. Response is active. I think we have the mulligan though. Alright, so you have all of our colors. This is good. Removal versus Emil versus practice offense. Because Bogwater is staying. Bogwater on 2, Emil on 3. We have so much removal in the deck. Maybe we just wait to draw the rest. They had to mulligan to 5. Oh wow. Oh, killing that might have won us the game. Well, let's see. No. Now it's too late to be killing that, but let's play the roamer. We have a blocker for the glass, right? They have 5 mana here. And we have a removal spell. We have a grapple with death in hand. That's why they kept the hands. Do I want them attacking? I guess I don't care, right? We're gonna gain life. Mascot. If they attack with that, I can kill it. I can try to get in. This board isn't really wide enough, I don't believe. No attacks. 3 creatures, I believe, is enough. Mascot gets in. I can't do anything about that. They bounce the roamer so they can surveil. Post combat, so they lose a damage. Actually, factually, I'm gonna play this for 3. Do I have any creatures in here? No. If I attack with the Osteomancer, they just block with the glass, right? Look at that. We profited off of them needing the mulligan quite a bit, but we kind of got hosed too, so I do not feel bad. We got to win 1,000 gems. All right. So for our play-in points, we used 40 of these bad boys. We've earned 1,000 gems back. Not the best return. Well, we earned 1,500 because we got 500 from the previous one. So that means basically for buying the past 2 bundles, we got 1,500 in addition to what else we got. So that's not bad. So I don't mind keeping this because it's newt into Emil. So we have a path, and we're not stuck on needing to cast these right away. They have a 1-drop. I don't think there's a 1-drop that you question whether or not you should play it. Is there a spell? Indecision on turn 1, land 1 is crazy. They disconnect? Oh. Oh, if that's the case, I'll expanse. Oh, that was the best draw in our deck, actually. Because that'll get us our swamp. And I don't even mind drawing a land right now either. Lovely. Alright, newt. Doesn't seem like they have priority there, so they didn't have a 2-mana removal spell, like the one that does 2 damage. I think I want to play Archaic on 3 for all 3 colors. And then I want to play... So, that's there. So we have 4 mana, actually. No, I think we're still... Yeah, that's definitely the play. Because now our things are bigger as we play them. Especially the old growth. We don't have any life gain right now, so... We can still make this a 6/6. If we could gain life, it would be an 8/8. That'd be lovely. Tablet, they mill. Alright, Titan's Grave. I think we just play 2 creatures here. Acolyte. Roamer. Archaic is insane, by the way, because you can just choose to pick whatever colors you want to pay for it. And we have 5 mana next turn. We have a tap land here. Alright, so they use the full heated argument. Are they going to exile the lands? Yeah. Alright, so they have the Trudge. And they are holding priority again. Is that a protection spell? That feels suspicious. I don't think I care. So I'm gonna play Educator. This is gonna be a 7/7. Oh, I should have attacked first. It would have been a 9/9. Oh, I missed it. And if I draw a land next turn, I can play Seminar. Emeritus of Conflict. Alright, so cast 3rd spell on a turn and it becomes prepared. If you have 3 1-mana spells, I don't think that's happening. That's a weird hand to keep if that's the case. You have a fight spell in your hand, and that's why you kept Trudge. You could have used it earlier, though, if you had a fight spell to get rid of some other stuff. I definitely should have attacked first, though. I was so worried about Archaic dying when swinging. I think it was unnecessarily worried about it. Yep, Trudge does not do much for you here. Attacking also does nothing for you. Actually. So I can, well, let's not do that. Black. And let's keep the white and green open. Let's send the 7/7 in. If they double block the 4/4, if they block this and chump something else, they lose their board, but they take 4. No, just to send the 7/7 in. They go to 1. Go to 1 is crazy. Because if you can remove that, your buffer is gigantic for letting something else through. Now you have no buffer. You're dead on board, my guy. I think they were just accepting their fate. We had 1 more land than they did. Were they mana screwed, or they were able to play things each turn? They just weren't the best. I think we're actually running into the other side of the bracket that didn't draw amazingly. I think that's what we're seeing here. 1,500 gems, so we're at 2,000 gems for our 40 qualifier play-in points. All right. We have 1 loss to give still. These matches should get harder and harder, though. I believe they do match you up to someone that has the same record as you. Acolyte on 2, offense and removal. We have things to do, so we're gonna keep the hands. Acolyte. Yeah, I can't play mascot, so it doesn't make a difference. Withering Curse is interesting, technically. We really... I need to draw a land. They're not gonna block here. The question is, do we need to kill this lecturer? Actually, no. I actually want them to play out and not kill my acolyte. They leave it up. All right. Are they trying to kill the acolyte with the Ajani? Oh no. Is that worth it for them? Is it worth me losing my life gain angle? That I'm not sure. They just take it again. Alright. I'm looking for them to play out so that I can swing the acolyte in and just clear out. I would love for them to play... Oof, that's... Or discard a card. Did they gain a life this turn? No. No, they did. Okay. I think I still want them to play more. They keep saying hello. I would love if they played two things here. That'd be... Oh, wow. I'm at 26, so I don't care about this. How greedy am I? I'm thinking of the wrong card. Okay, I got my green. I think we do need to clear out here, though. You have to discard a card no matter what. I think I want to play Bane so that next turn I can activate Mascot. And it's a great blocker for the Necroscribe. I think they're going to use that on the Necroscribe. Ooh, I should have not let that happen. I'm gonna have to discard a card. I forgot what it did. I should have killed it when they played the Eater. Oh, I missed terribly. Oh, I whipped so hard. I needed to kill that the second the Eater got played. I really had this stuck in my head as a different card. Oh, I only have one green. I have thrown, it seems. Oh, I should have just killed it when you played the Eater. Oh. A Necroscribe loop. Oh, there goes one of those losses. That is just because I didn't read the card. All right, we could have been in a better position there. We needed to kill that in response. That was our window. So we have all our colors. We have no early plays, but we have a response to them playing a creature. We play this and we pass. Double color wise, we only have black and white, right? And we have the same amount of swamps and plains in the deck right now. So I guess it doesn't matter. Let's go grab a plains. Play a mascot. I'm not gonna block with it. So if he gets tokens, this is prepared, so he needs to play a token. We have Seminar on the way. Let's get rid of this. We can wander off something else they play. Or if they don't play anything super scary, we can play the Eternal Student or the Shade Rider. They play nothing, right? I presume they have a removal spell, so killing that is less bad than killing Sneering. Because I can still cast that from the graveyard. Unless they have Wander Off in hand. And we're only one land away from being able to cast Seminar. 6 mana. 4 cards in hand. In the tank. The Drunk Dingo. I presume they have a removal spell in their hand. They're wondering if they should use it on the student because it's so bad to kill it. If it's Wander Off, I don't think they wait. I think you just kill it. I mean, you exile it because it won't get the ability. No play? Are they trying to save mana and use Najani? What? I'm not playing anything. Do they have the same board clear we do? And they want us to play out? Or do they have Seminar too? I mean, I'll take 4 a turn and cast my Seminar next turn. I don't mind that. You have 4 cards in hand and 7 mana. Are you really being that greedy about your board clear? If you have Seminar, you have 1 card you can bring back every turn, just like me. Well, it's like I will. I can exile it though, so that he doesn't have one next turn. You gonna kill it now? After it hits you for 4? When you have all your mana open? What is happening? It can't be that you really... five damage to it? Why did you need to do that? You could just pay it for 0. Kill summons or untap all creatures. Okay. 7 mana to kill it. What did you think was happening? I guess let's... I guess I don't need any more lands. All right, you killed it. Now what? I really don't understand windmill slamming a full cost Molten Note at an Eternal Student that only takes 2 mana to kill. They were really presuming that I would have a protection spell in my colors, but if it was a real protection spell, you would have got blown out anyways. Please tell me you didn't have that in your hand already. Yeah, I'm gonna call. Yep. 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 Yeah. They could still be playing at the board clear, but they still need to gain a life during the turn they cast it. That doesn't gain a life. That can remove a thing, but it's 8 mana. that they actually don't have right now. Now they have it. They can remove one thing with that, but... Alright. You have no red mana. It blocks Bane and Student very well. Alright, that'll come back. So, it was a handful of removal spells. I mean, good games. You're dead on board. You had a handful of removal spells. You chose to do the worst possible one. They took all that damage. This is everything they had in their hands and drew that turn. They drew all that land. Not much more land than we did. They had 2 creatures in it and 3 removal spells. And I'm fairly certain, except if I exiled. Alright, well, we are already in a decent spot. We got 3,000 gems back for our investment. We could have been at 4-0 at this point, technically, because I don't think we win. I don't think we lose the other game if they don't have that loop, and we would have had our entry back on re-entering. We have 5,000 gems, so worst comes to worst, tomorrow on my own I can go play another one of these if I wanted to. I mean, if this lasts till tomorrow, I'm actually sure, not actually sure. But yeah, 3,000 gems for, I mean, 3,500 is not a bad return for extra value we were getting in the preview packs. I mean, in the pre-release bundles. I don't mind that at all. All green mana is not good for this. Let's mulligan. Oh, they're playing with us. Oh, they're really playing with us. Really? I mean, we're gonna shuffle. So... do we go get a green mana, or do we go to... I mean, we're likely to draw a green mana. Let's go get the black so that we might be able to play Duelist. And making response a creature that they have that attacks. Kill it. Okay. Alright. Now we want to draw exactly a black mana. I mean, they might have removal again, but... ramp. Alright. Ramp. I mean, land fetching. Yeah, they're doing pretty well. I am not. I needed to curve out there. With an extra draw, I did not curve out. And they're ramping. Are they 5 color? Yeah, I don't think the scientist is the thing that I want to kill. If if I went and got a green, I would never be able to play this. Well, unless I drew into it, luckily. Together as one for a full 5. Can I get a land? Preferably black or green. I actually don't know that I can keep taking the 2s now. I mean, they didn't actually ramp. They just played a land every turn, right? Stuck on 3 out of the top 12, huh? They have 5. Oh, and this is Zaphi, a free instant sorcery. So they have 11 on board. I mean, if they had... They've drawn 9 more cards than me. Going first. And I don't even have the mana for the board clear if I needed it. The only difference if I grab a green mana instead of a black mana is that this creature is dead. And I could have played a meal last turn. I can... block a thing on the ground and then die anyways. So my mulligan was 3 green lands into 3 green lands into all the land into 2 white land and an expanse into not drawing any more lands until the turn I died. With a standard 17 land deck. And then draw any of the 2 drops in the colors. No, I had the 1/2 drop. I did have the Acolyte. I could not have played the Luminate if I drew it. I could not have played the Newt if I drew it because I didn't have the green mana. So 3 forest twice. Salt overwhelming. Salt overwhelming. Well, let's claim our winnings. 3,000. All right, let's call it there. This is 4 hours and 26 minutes of overall content. I'm gonna cut it down and chop it up. It'll probably still end up being 3 hours, so it'll be legitimately a long video that I hope you took your time to chill to with me, going through the ups and downs of sealed gameplay and getting mana screwed. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it, especially if you made it all the way 3 hours through. Have a good night or a good rest of your day, whatever time it is where you are. See ya.